My name is Russ, and I'm interviewing Victor with Meg here also. And I'm just going to ask Victor some questions, and he's going to answer them the best he can. All right, Victor, can you briefly describe your life before your brain injury?
It was semi-active. Went out, when I could, and worked hard. And I was a little bit stressed at work.
But you had a good social life?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Things seem to be working well.
Well, how was your family life after your brain?
Well, I have good friends and roommates, so they
supportive.
They can be. It's just a little bit difficult for them to understand some things that I'm going through. They think in their mind what they have in their mind what I'm entitled to and stuff like that. They also don't know, or if it's difficult for them to realize, like, SteppingStones is like school. Just how I have to receive it. And then doctor's appointments is doctor's appointments, and and stuff like that. They thought I was going to woke rehab. They thought I was going to the doctors. Like, no, it's not the doctors. It's a place to start redoing my career.
So you've learned a lot while being here at SteppingStones?
Yes, I have. I've learned how everybody's supportive, accepting, and very, and understanding.
Yeah,
of course. And it makes me feel good to be here, actually.
It's a good feeling.
Yes. It's a place to belong if you have a brain injury.
Perfect. How's your family life after your injury?
Family life, well, my family kind of lives up in Maine, so it's kind of hard to see them.
You don't see them as much?
Yeah. But I do talk to them on the phone and stuff. Like on the phone and in family functions and stuff.
It's tough when they're far away.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I just kind of stayed. They kind of moved, But,
and before your injury, you said you were stressed at work. What did you do for work?
I was a LNA, licensed nurse's aide. So, again, that's another, area that I also know about. Being,
Have you tried at all to get back into that at all?
At the time that this was happening, or before it happened, I was kind of being burnt out since I've been this place for 14 years and working my ass off.
It's a very intense job too.
Yeah, it is. So they were saying maybe because of my stress level and stuff that maybe this is not good to get back into. So okay, because before this happened too, I was thinking of cutting down my hours to relax and pursue other things. So.
How has this all affected you emotionally?
Emotionally, well, sometimes it's a little bit depressing, but I also have to think about how severe I was compared to other people. I guess I'm pretty lucky because I bounced, back a little bit better than other people. but sometimes, like I said, it's a little depressing. It's like can't do what I like to do, or would like to do, or it's kind of like put the stop.
Yeah.
Like a stop sign, and
so it's kind of hard.
Yeah. It's at one time my environment wasn't that great, so
after your injury.
Yeah, because I was living in a place that wasn't very
supportive.
Yeah, that, and I had to travel.
Oh,
traveling was not good either. I mean, I had to rely on my roommates and felt like I had to beg and plead for a ride here. So, because this wasn't really a had-to place to be. It was, like therapy was,
Yeah.
And it's like, and the time space too. It's like, I mean, coming in at even at 10 o'clock, it was kind of difficult with my roommates, because they work nights from 11 to 7 or 12 to 8. So it was like hard for them to either stay awake to give me a ride or have to wake them up to give me a ride. So,
can you describe your injury?
Let's see. There are a few things that are like a little confusing. One was I was in the shower and feeling a little bit weak on one side.
Yeah.
But didn't think of anything of it because there was, items in the shower that was, that kind of relaxed the body. So I thought I overdid it with that item or those products. And slowly as I got, was out, doing something around the house or the apartment, whatever, slowly my arm and leg was getting, weaker and weaker. And I didn't know. I thought I was either allergic to the product that I used or what, but my roommates were my friends at the time. They kept calling the house from their work to see, how I was doing and stuff. And at first they didn't know what was going on, but then when the second time, it was like a series of like 4 phone calls or whatever, or 4 or 6 phone calls or something like that, because they noticed over the phone.
Oh, you answered the phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, right.
I answered the phone while they called, and asked them what's going on with your products in your bathroom. Am I allergic or what? So I thought nothing of it. I was like kind of laughing, But after thinking about it, I'm thinking, oh my God, maybe I shouldn't have been, because I was dragging this foot. I was stumbling here and there, and I'm like, wow. And then they got home and realized that there was some drooping on my right side, and when I heard that, I said, oh shoot, that means something major is going on.
So you realized when they came home?
Well, after they looked at my face and and said, "Oh yeah, there's some drooping there," they said that to me. I said, "Oh shoot," it's like something going on. And that was another thing. It's like, oh no, I have to go to the hospital. Gonna lose out on work, money, that sort of thing. And then finally at the hospital, it just kind of realized, well, it's gonna be happening, so I might as well just,
So it was
accept it.
a stroke?
Yes. They're telling me that I had one at the house.
Mm-hmm.
When in the hospital, they told my friend that I had 2 or 3 other ones. I'm like, what? Really? I was thinking I had 2 because my arm was getting a little bit better, and and leg and stuff. And then when they gave me medicine to cut the clots,
Did that help?
Well, that got scary because they gave me the ultimatum thing. Well, you don't take it, you end up being paralyzed on one side. If you do take it, you have a possibility you won't be paralyzed on that side. So it was like, so it was sort of like a 50-50 type of thing.
Yeah.
So I decided to take the medicine. So, and after that, it was like, I don't know if it did the opposite of what it was supposed to do, or it was that them telling me that I may end up being paralyzed because I couldn't move my right side after that. So.
And are you paralyzed now in any form?
Not really. There is this. I can't. I mean, my leg kind of
just goes once in a while.
Yeah. I mean, if I lift my leg and stuff like that, but that's nothing new because I used to do that all the time too. So
sometimes it's just a nerve or something because I can do that. I can do that if I want.
Yeah.
If I like put my hand well, whatever. But
right.
It can do that. So, what's the extent of your rehabilitation since then?
Oh, what's my extent?
Did you have speech?
Right. Oh yeah,
Physical therapy,
I had all 3 actually.
Yeah.
I had the speech, I had the physical, I had the occupational. So, but they're telling me that I guess the speech is coming back.
You seem fine talking.
How was it before?
It was slurred, and it was a little bit drooling here and there.
Was it difficult to think of things?
Yeah, I mean, if somebody just said, okay, who's the president? I'm like, oh yeah, it's so-and-so, and then, that sort of thing, but then I guess that, just slowly coming back here. But now, sometimes there's things that I do forget. It's like if I make a phone call to the bus company to pick me up, I might call them the next day and say, hey, I need a bus. You called us last week. And it's like, oh. Or if somebody said something to me. My thing is, I was a right-handed. I used to write and draw with my right hand and eat, and had to learn quickly with my left. So I had to work on that, and I'm still kind of working on it.
Just strengthening?
Yeah, that and slow. I mean, I can still do things with it. It's just when I pick up a fork or a spoon, my brain goes, okay, it'll take 2 bites, and then my brain will say, okay, switch over.
Yeah. So now you're actually left-handed.
Yeah. It's sort of going both, but it's more left-handed now. I mean, if I want to get the thing done,
so you're used to right
done.
hand, but you've trained your left hand to do more things.
I kind of had to. I was in the hospital and had to
I know that.
lift and myself and stuff like that.
How's your family life been affected since your injury?
Family life?
Just they're another state away.
Well, they're anxious. They know things have changed. They know because I wrote them a letter or in a card, and then I called my mother and told her that I moved. So they noticed a little bit of changes. They haven't really seen me. Last time they saw me was in the hospital in a jerry chair.
Yeah.
So
and
not moving. So
how long ago was your accident?
This happened the day after New Year's of 2005.
Okay.
So it was about a year and a quarter ago. So, and then I realized that, most people don't really bounce back that quickly either. So I mean, and when I started off, I did have a walker. I did have a leg brace.
Has that affected your social life at all?
I think it has. Even though I've been out and about doing things, I went on vacation last year, in the summer. So it's like, well, it's like, is anybody going to notice,
There's anxiety?
Yeah, that, and the limping. People notice I do limp now, so it's like, oh.
Does that bother you?
The limping, or
people.
I don't know what they're thinking. That's the hard part about it. It's like I don't know.
Does it bother you, or do you think it should bother you?
Should it bother me?
Do you think it should bother you?
It's hard to say.
Or are you happy just being who you are and doing what you do?
I am happy with what I'm doing, but every once in a while I'd like to get out. I like to either meet some people and stuff like that, socialize and stuff. But my thing is, I know in the back of my head that I'm fine, and I don't know how they're thinking of what, even though they don't know, I've only spoke to 2 people about this, so, but they don't really know, which is, I don't know, they haven't really asked me. I don't know what they're thinking, but then again, I have to think I haven't been out there that often either. I haven't been out in the social world that often either, so it's kind of hard to think of that.
Just taking it slow right now.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. What do you think the biggest thing has changed for you since your accident?
The biggest change? Physically or emotionally?
Oh, just anyway. Emotionally, communication, friends, social life.
Well, I'd say emotionally, it's like it's like talking to people, they don't, like my friends and stuff, they don't seem to understand,
Is it hard for you just to tell them about it?
No, I just, I do tell them, and sometimes I feel like in one ear and out the other, and that sort of thing. And kind of unfortunately, I think I do have friends that are kind of like that. My 2 roommates, but I think maybe they think because they see what's going on. It's like that I am up and walking around. I am using that side. The only thing is that it's a little bit weak, and
So because they see that you're physically better, they think that you're fine.
Right.
What's been your biggest communication problem?
Biggest communication.
Interacting with others, or people with disabilities also, or staff people? Like coming to SteppingStones, have you had any communication problems with anybody, or? And if so, why?
No, I don't think I have had any. It's,
pretty accepting?
yeah, and you know, it's like you have to take time and try to figure out what the person's talking about, and basically you can. It's like it just takes a matter of timing. I mean, I used to do this when I was at LNA too, so we had people that talked slow and it was hard of talking, you know.
How does it make you feel when you talk? Not just to people, but people here, people outside, people, mailmen maybe, or just going to the store. How does it make you feel? Does it make you feel happy or sad or frustrated?
Accomplished. Like you reached a goal.
Say that again?
Accomplished, like you learned how to do something again.
You've done a lot for yourself since then.
Yeah. Like trying to do the exercises, and you can feel. Sometimes you can tell that, you know, how you're getting better and stuff. My only thing is my frustration is with my drawing. It's because I was right-handed.
Yeah.
I used to draw fairly well.
So you have to retrain your left hand to do the same thing.
Right. I mean, and that's still in transition right now. So it's like, you know, whatever I'm doing is like, you know, you have to bear with me. It's like I'm learning how to use this hand again, you know, to use the other hand better than like it was with the right hand.
It seems as if it's coming along all right. It just takes time.
Yeah.
Does it make you frustrated sometimes?
Yes.
And stressed?
Of course. Yeah, a little bit stressed. I mean, then I have to think, you know, I have to calm down with stress.
Being here at SteppingStones, does it help you to realize that other people are the same way and that you can make yourself a better person with the different classes?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Are you able to go to a lot of different classes that you wish you had known about before? Learn new things?
For here, I mean, that I wish I knew before. Well, I basically kind of, after therapy, they were kind of pushing me into here, so it was like, you know, and then my ride situation. I wish I was still coming, you know, during that, but unfortunately there were things that I had to deal with before.
Because during the summer you came and then you had to
and during the summer I was coming, and then winter was like, you know, we were transitioning from one place to another, like moving. So, and then the really silly thing was that my friend or my ex-roommate was telling me, it's like, how, you know, what do you feel about not going to SteppingStones? Well, I'm foolishly telling myself, well, I think I could teach myself some things, but then I realized being back here is like, no, that's not right. I mean, it's kind of, it's.
Have you learned a lot by being at SteppingStones?
I would say yes. It's kind of hard to say.
What kind of things do you think it's helped you with? Such as communications, cooking, listening to gardening groups, or things like that.
Actually, emotionally. Maybe academically, maybe a little bit.
Getting back some cognitive skills.
Yeah. I was here for that memory thing that we did in the computer room, so I thought that was a little bit helpful.
So you find groups here helpful?
Yes, I do.
It's a good thing.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
All right. What are some of the goals that you have for yourself at this point in your life?
Oh my goodness.
I know. Well, let me say it this way. What kind of goals do you have at this point in your life? You could just take one maybe and say what you're doing to try to achieve that goal. Like say maybe I want to get out and do this, but I don't know how to do it. Maybe you might learn, like the travel group, you might learn how to take the buses and or go different places. For example.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm also a simple person too. It's like I'd rather grab a cab too. But if
are there any buses near your house?
I take one to come here to SteppingStones, and it's the same one that Hank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks. I'm sorry, I probably shouldn't have said his name.
No,
That's fine.
Because I live in his apartment complex, so so
that's helped you a lot.
Yeah, I mean, makes me feel more,
And you have a new friend in Hank.
Well, yeah.
Or maybe an old friend. I shouldn't say new.
Yeah. Well, you can say new because it's a new relationship or a new friendship. Yeah, it makes me feel independent taking the bus, and I do have to thank Robert for getting me the number and getting me in touch with that, because otherwise I would be hounding my roommates.
Has it been helpful? Do you think learning all the new things that you learn here?
Yes. I'm trying to learn to use the computer so I can maybe get a good job somewhere.
Sounds good.
And that falls with my other, where my philosophy, one thing at a time, too.
Yeah. Are there any barriers you see while you're here for yourself? Is it transportation maybe, or just different classes, or anything that...
I really haven't been here long enough to say anything right now about that.
Sure.
Even though you guys have a suggestion box and you can go up and talk to people,
Do you find that helpful, being able to talk to people?
Yeah.
And staff?
Yes.
How are the people here at SteppingStones? I have to ask all these questions. How do you find the people here?
Let's see. The members and the staff are very good, very kind and helpful.
One of the ways that we really like to end these interviews is to ask you if you have any advice for someone that may be in a similar situation.
With a stroke or with a head injury, or all I can say is what my OT therapist told me. Just give it a month, see how you feel.
You said that was your philosophy.
That's what they asked me in the hospital. I mean, it's like, do you have a philosophy? And they said, yeah, one day at a time.
I think that's a great piece of advice, just to keep that in mind.
Yeah, it was.
Keeps you going.
Kind of had to think of it as like a AA person or drug addict person. It's like one day at a time. That keeps me, my mind, set.
Thank you so much.